Welcome to this edition of Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong. I'm here with my brother Damon and Jaquari Armstrong. Have a special guest tonight, Keith Barnes. Hey,
How's everybody?
before
Welcome,
we
brother.
get
What's going on,
started,
bro?
y'all
Welcome to
doing
you,
good,
bro.
baby? Look, let's do some housekeeping. At our podcast, what our main goal is right now is to reach as many listeners as we can. So the first step to that goal is for us to reach 1,000, because once we reach 1,000 on our YouTube channel, YouTube would open it up a little more for us and have us better access with other people and other programming. So do us a favor, people on our Facebook pages and all of that. Do us a favor, go to our channel, Strong Perspective Podcast, and just subscribe. That's all we need you to do right now. And the one thing that we offer everybody is everyday conversation from everyday people, because that's where the biggest miracles come from. That's where some of the biggest the biggest game-changing things happen with everyday people. Everyday people become famous people. Keep that in mind, okay? I want to shout, hey, Leon Bowler. Keith, is Bowler on the line?
Oh, Bowler in there. What's going on, Bowler?
Yeah, yeah. So, Jaquari, how you doing today, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm maintaining my position, brother. I'm holding on with both hands. That's all I can do. All I can say.
Damon, what about yourself?
Man, I'm doing good today, man. Other than this attack of gout, man, I'm living the life, man. Happy, enjoying it best I can.
Happy and cranky at the same time, right?
Well, I try to ignore the cranky part, man. Unless somebody come
Keith,
by and
how you doing,
accidentally bump it.
Oh, man, I'm
There
doing
you go.
fabulous. I'm doing fabulous. I'm feeling like
Hey,
a celebrity.
welcome to the podcast, brother. You know what I mean? We
Welcome.
talked about you coming on before, and
Oh, yeah,
we welcome you. You know what I mean?
Welcome, KB.
man.
Welcome to you, sir. Welcome to you. Good to have you. Good to have you.
All right. Thank you for having me.
So,
I watch. I'm a
what we
loyal viewer.
Okay.
That's I'm a loyal
Since
viewer.
you've been watching it, since you've been watching this, why don't we do what we're gonna do? Start off with the usual. Why don't you tell us about yourself, brother? Let our listeners and viewers know Keith Barnes.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's easy. I'm in a nutshell, I'm a country boy from Wilson, North Carolina, Wilson County, North Carolina, and I grew up there, born and raised. Graduated from high school, went to Fayetteville State University. I stayed there about a semester because I had made the football team, but they couldn't give me a scholarship, and I didn't have no money. So then I went and joined the Army, and stayed in the Army like 3 or 4 years. Got out of the Army, and in between jobs, I stumbled into law enforcement. The reason I say stumbled, the job I'm doing now, trucking, that's what I was going to do then. I was going to come out of the military and get in the trucking and start my own business. But in the meantime, I came back to the United States, and I was driving like I was still in Germany. So I got some speeding tickets and couldn't get CDL license. So in the meantime, I got me a job working in another detention office. And then I decided to go to the academy. And so 29 years later, I retired from it, and now I'm back in trucking now. So that's it in a nutshell as far as what I've been doing.
Look, mama, I made it.
Exactly. I was,
Okay.
Came full circle.
Oh, yeah.
full circle. Oh, yes.
Tell us, because I know, we've been friends for 25 years or so.
Mhm.
Tell us what your pecking order as far as your siblings are concerned.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Of my biological sisters and brothers, I'm the oldest, but I was raised with my uncles and aunts. So I was raised as the baby.
Oh,
I was raised as the baby. I was born in '66, and when I was born, that family structure had to look right. So I was raised as brothers and sisters, with my uncles and stuff. So I was the baby.
Oh,
But,
okay, I see what
but
you're
the
saying.
pecking order
Yeah.
is I'm the oldest
Right.
of my biological father and my mother's children. I'm the oldest.
okay.
That sound like Robin. That sound like Aunt Robin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, pretty much. Uncle, brother, no, but
uncle brother. There you go.
okay.
Yeah, you was the bridge, huh?
Oh yeah, exactly. So
I tell you what the thing that's so unique about this show is just about every guest we've had has come from a different region of this country. We had Mr. KJ Jones, in which he said that his grandmother came from Wilson, North Carolina.
okay.
He's on the West Coast in LA. Um,
What up, KJ?
yeah, and we had
What's
a
going
couple
on, brother?
Midwest kids, and we had some Philly kids. You know what I mean? I call them kids, but men and women.
Right.
But that's the uniqueness of it. So, being from North Carolina,
Mhm.
give us a pro and give us a con. And ladies and gentlemen, we have questions we're going to get to, but I want you to get to know Keith Barnes.
Okay. A pro for the state itself, or just
From your
Okay.
experience, let's do it
Okay.
like that. Because
Okay.
we ain't trying to go on a tour. You know
okay.
what I'm saying?
All right. Okay. On the con side, in my experience, it was just from my personal experience, it was a lot of things that I didn't get exposed to due to a lot of things were taboo. They didn't talk about, the adults didn't talk about certain things. So I wasn't exposed to it until I left home. So once I got in the military, and especially when I got in the military, I got to meet with people from everywhere, all different places, cultures and everything. And I learned a lot. So on the con side, it was just how, that's part of that Bible Belt too. So sex, things like that. They claim they talk to you about it, like your parents think they talk to you about it, but on the real, that's nasty. Don't talk about that. You ain't old enough. Don't worry about it. But you hear about it in the streets, so you're hearing all kind of stuff, So on the pro side, there's a lot of pros. The food, people are laid back. A lot of diverse people. You got people I found out that people pretty much migrated due north with, I guess, slavery and everything kind of died down. But so the people in, say, the Wilson area, up in the DC, Maryland area, Connecticut, Philly, you got a lot of roots from North Carolina.
Okay.
And Mississippi and the central, Illinois, Michigan, all of them, they got a lot of Mississippi, Alabama natives. But North Carolina has a mixture. They have a mixture of all of it. And so that's a pro of it.
Okay. Well, let me ask Jaquari and Damon. You've been coming down here since I've been down here since '95. Do you have any pros and cons that you can speak of? We'll start with you, Damon.
I actually don't have any cons, man. But the pros is that, man, they're probably probably some of the most friendliest people, man, I ever encountered. You know what I'm saying? Everybody speak. I mean, they actually let you in traffic. You know, blew my mind, man. I was like, wow, ain't no way the hell we getting out here. Brother said, go ahead, man. I was like, that made my day the whole day.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, man, that was a good man. Ain't never met him in my life, but people opening the door for you. You know what I'm saying? Saying thank you, calling you sir. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that was the first time I encountered a lot of people doing it. You know what I'm saying? You get that in sparsity, you know, in Michigan and different places, but North Carolina, everybody spoke. Everybody had that southern hospitality. You know, cons, I can't really think of any. You know,
I understand that because you visited more than actually stayed here. Jaquari did a little of both. So Jaquari, do you have anything?
Oh, pros, man. You know, North Carolina was my saving grace, man. I mean, it's, you know, I moved there in a time of my life, man, where I didn't have any structure, I didn't have a plan, I didn't have anything, man. And I went down there, man, and the hospitality was such that I felt comfortable, you know, pursuing things. You know what I mean? And not that I didn't have that in Ypsilanti. You know, I just was in a rut in Ypsi. You know what I mean? But I moved down to Raleigh, man, and you know, my whole everything opened up. You know, and that pretty much explains my whole list of pros, man. I had a lot of firsts down there, man, you know, because I was still living at home, man, you know, and as far as my, you know, experience at home was, man, you know, shit, I didn't put myself out there, but as soon as I moved down there, like I said, man, you know, like the people, the personalities, the hospitality, man, it put me in a mindset where, you know, I got to take advantage of this, you know, because I was moving in an environment that I wasn't used to, you know. So I thrived. I got down there and I felt like I was thriving, you know. Yes, sir.
I was saying it's a story I was going to share with you when you finish. But,
yeah. Understood. I appreciate it. The only con I could think of, man, was it wasn't no goddamn sidewalk down there. What goddamn hell is all the goddamn sidewalk? I ain't drive nowhere. So I walked in when I was, you know, in a good head. I ran everywhere, man. Yeah, look, you know,
go ahead.
Where Keith lived, you know, it's a semi-high traffic area, right? And, you know, I worked at Sam's Club, and like I said, I ain't had no transportation, so I had to walk. And sometimes I had to walk home in the dark, right?
Right.
And they ain't give it, you know, the drivers, they ain't give a fuck about that. They ain't give a fuck about the pedestrian at all.
Not in that city, dude.
They ain't care about the pediatrician, man.
At all. Look, so I got into the habit, man. I got into the habit of every time I heard the car coming and I seen the lights, I would turn around and shit, and you know, and walk backwards and start singing this shit, performing. You know, just so I could put a face, on the victim and shit. You care about me, motherfucker. I made you feel good. So, you know, as a driver, keep me safe. There wasn't no goddamn sidewalks. I'm like, what the fuck? Where the hell am I at?
Look, and y'all, all three of y'all know that I live in a nice subdivision.
Yeah.
And one side, my side, don't got no damn sidewalks, man.
I didn't talk
I'm
about
like,
it.
what the hell is this, man? I didn't get it. And I still don't
What
get
you
it.
motherfuckers? You motherfuckers ain't finished. What the fuck?
I'm sure somebody be able to explain it. I can't find the answer. You know what I mean?
Oh, you said they ain't finished.
Yeah, y'all ain't finished at all. What the fuck?
They did
Hey,
it
man, but
on a Friday.
Hey, look, the boss was like, look, we got to go. We about to go.
Yeah.
Fuck that. But I love North Carolina, man. I love, every part. I done been from here to there, and I done stretched all across that son bitch, man. I love it, man. I really do.
I'm gonna go ahead and answer this question too. Pros, I became a mature man. I was always a real, I was always considered a man, but I became a mature man because I started to understand what it was to protect your family. Because I'm in Pittsburgh, I'm coming from the crib, you know what I mean? My wife is from Philadelphia. That's all I knew was city life. You know what I'm saying? Was city life. That's all I knew. So and it wasn't my idea to move here. My wife, Kia. And sometimes the boss have a better forethought in where you should go.
Right.
And I was kicking and screaming because, I was in line to be a supervisor where I was, and I'm finally getting comfortable the whole nine. She came down here because she's an engineer. She came down here on a visit on the job site, and I guess she felt the vibe. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because that's, because Keith was a little one there, and she's like, I want to move down there. And you know how I'm ignoring it, like, yeah, all right, whatever, right? Because like I said, I'm a northern guy, and came down here kicking and screaming. And you don't appreciate how much noise it is until you experience quiet.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying to you? Where I walk, and the three of us can attest where you do hear the occasional gunshot. Out here, it's country boys shooting at some damn game. You know what I'm saying?
This dude
But,
trying to make a living.
At the crib, you thinking somebody getting ready to catch some hot rocks somewhere. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is, right? And what it was is the quiet taught me that there is a better way to bring your family up. You know what I mean? Even though we had Keith at the time. But I felt good where I didn't have to worry about when it's 8 o'clock where Kia was, because she said she was going to the store.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? At the crib, that crosses my mind. I'm on the celly like, yo, where you at? You know what I'm saying? Because this is where what we use as our environment. You know what I mean? So that's the pros of it. The cons is not really a con because guess what? When you're on the journey to understand what kind of cat you are, because that's, and my brothers and Keith, that's the journey I've always been on. Yeah, I've been, I've done things and I'm just like everyone else. But once I settled in and said, you know what? Only I can make me happy. Ain't no place, ain't no situation, ain't that no person can bring me my happiness. It is not possible. Now, my wife can enhance it, and I can enhance her happiness, right? Because I give her security. She gives me security. And then the occasional fucking meal, even though I'm just joking, honey. I'm just joking. But
Yeah.
but Keith, you said you had a story to tell. Go ahead.
Hey, I got a con, man.
All
I
right, go ahead.
learned something in North Carolina. That goddamn heat y'all got and alcohol do not mix, man. Hey, you talking about emergency room, man. All right, I'm good, bro.
But go ahead, Keith.
It sticks with you. Well, growing up, and I was thinking about it. I had an experience. I think I was in seventh grade, seventh grade, and like I said, I grew up in Wilson County, so I'm in the country. Now I went to school in this Wilson is the county seat, but this town, Elm City, was where I went to school. You know, elementary and middle school. So there's another small town named Sharpsburg, and they're close to Rocky Mountain. Well, they had this thing, they tease each other about whose city was the smallest.
Okay.
And Sharpsburg would say, well, we got a stoplight, y'all don't have a stoplight. Now, that was true, but the thing they didn't tell you that before I-95 was built, Highway 301 was I-95. So the stoplight was on 301. So it's like you put a stoplight up on I-95. So,
Okay.
so that was the other side of the joke. We said, well, yeah, nobody wouldn't stop in your town because so y'all put the stoplight up. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, where the story got funny was Elm City got a stoplight. So when they got this stoplight, it was the talk of the town. So school got out. We come out. It was a stop sign there first. So that afternoon we come out, man, they were gathered around like it was the first stoplight ever
Wow.
at this intersection. Everybody was there. And bus creaked through.
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody was there but Garrett Morgan, the brother that invented the stoplight. He the only one that wasn't there.
Yeah.
And the thing that was funny, I got home and I was laughing, telling them about it. They got in the car and we went back down there.
It's like, what? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
well, come on, let's go see.
Yeah. So this man that had his little store across the street, he didn't open, he ain't closed up. He usually closed.
Yeah.
He come people down there.
Yeah.
And they were sitting there. It was like a parade. They were taking turns riding through the stoplight. And it was a big thing for about a month. And it dawned on me, I said, how deep in the damn country are we?
Hey, y'all remember the Beverly Hillbillies?
Yeah.
You remember what was that town they came from? Bug Tussle?
Bug tussle, yeah.
Bug tussle, yeah. The joys of country living, baby.
Hey man, look here. You ain't got no better living though, man. I mean, like,
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
But
Just
they had a
think,
rich
man.
basketball history, though. That
Yeah.
basketball
Yeah.
history was rich. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
3 times, 3 or 4 times state champions. Boys basketball back to back with 2A champions and girls basketball champions too. So
Okay.
some
All right.
ballers
So
around there.
before we go on, Marcia Curtis, that's your people, Keith?
Yeah, that's my sister.
She said, hey, big brother.
Yep, that's my sister.
Malika.
You see that? You see that
Ron,
message
Terry,
I
what's
sent you
going
about
on?
the comics? You see that message I sent you about the comics, KB?
No, I can't see him.
You can't see him? Okay.
Now,
No, I-
go to the chat. Hey,
Okay.
Eric Harris, what's going on, brother? Ron
What's
John,
going
what's
on,
up
bro?
with you, bro? All right.
Rod
Hey,
Johnson,
hey,
Rod
hey,
Johnson, what's
Taylor.
going on, man?
Taylor.
Hey,
Taylor,
Ron,
what's
what's
going
up,
on?
dude?
What's up, E? What's up?
Long,
Lord,
long
what's
time,
going
brother.
on?
Long time.
He
What's
said
up,
he-
Lon?
Ron said he can't wait to be on.
Uh-oh.
Understood.
No, no,
Understood. Yeah, we'd have been up and down the road. We'd have been up and down the road now. Yeah.
We'll be here when you're ready. Hey, so like I tell people all the time, what we do here, we have at least 2 or 3 questions that the Thursday night before our podcast, we tell people that we're going to ask our guests. We tell our guests this is what we're going to ask so they can understand where we're trying to move in it. And it's about a conversation. Lawrence, love you, baby boy. It's all about conversations here, right? So this is a question that I think that you want to answer, Keith, because we talked about it last night. And were there any experience that affected you as a young man that affects the person that you are today?
Oh yeah, 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 absolutely. As
You need us to come back to you?
well, you can. I can go, or you can
Oh,
come back to me.
no, this is for you, baby. Let's
Oh,
go.
okay, yeah, let's go. Okay, no, yeah, that's
Right.
that's a big thing with me because uh, growing up, I always had this, even up to now, I have this part of me that feels like I always have to prove myself, and in many circumstances, I do have to prove myself because if I'm every time I accomplish something, it's not enough, and and that was from being fed a lot of negativity. You know, you can't do it, you can't jump high enough, too big, too fat, too slow, too. And then I always had something to prove to everyone. One of the biggest things, I'll take athletics. Uh, our football team, I should say my senior year, we were a game or two games, let's say, from the state. We had one more game to win, and we'd have been in the state to compete for the state. Well, at any rate, that whole year, I played both ways. I played defensive guard on the line, and I played fullback. So
Wow.
Yeah.
I played the
Wow.
whole season at fullback, never got a carry. The brother running behind me, I love him. That's my brother. He's Anthony Thompson. He graduated. He's All American. He went to East Carolina, graduated from there, and went to play for the Denver Broncos, and then played overseas. So great brother, good guy. But he was the tailback. He played both ways also. But my whole thing was one play. They called it to me because everyone was keying on him, and they switched the play in the huddle. I mean, like flagged him down. Yo, give it to him. So that type of thing. But the whole time of the year, they were riding me like, we can't do this without you. You the guy, you this, that. And I took pride in that. But that was just one of those things. And you think you do that to a young person. And I had been, from junior high and everything, I had been a running back. And I played on the line. I played both ways. So that was just an example. In the military, it'd be the same thing. They don't. I think I told you this, Keith, one time when we were over East Wake, and I said that you and I, they classified us in that group, break glass in case of emergency. When they want something, a photo take, make a calendar, put some officers on the calendar, pose and stuff. They don't look for me. But a gunshot go off, glass get broke, somebody gets slapped, fight break out, my phone on fire.
Come on.
They
Mm-hmm.
send in the big dog.
Yeah.
Or if they really need something done. So yeah, it started years ago. Because even as a child, it was like I said, I was raised by aunts and uncles. So I'm the youngest one.
Mm-hmm.
So the situation was kind of dysfunctional. The one head of the household, he'd get a little oiled up, and then it was verbal abuse. So everybody had an edge to him. So I'm the youngest one, so I'm catching all of it. So I'd always have this, it rolled over into school, because I've noticed I used to get in fights all the time. But the unique thing about me was my fights never got reported. I didn't get suspended for fighting, ever. But I was always in the fight. I was fighting on the bus. I was fighting in the school. And I was always fighting somebody way older than me.
Because you was always winning. But go ahead, brother.
Right.
And I had one move. It was 2 quick jabs, a body shot, and a chokehold. I just needed you to get your head down where I could get a headlock on you and get behind you.
Yeah.
And that's where I'd be until help came.
Hey, look, if it worked, why change it?
Don't
Exactly.
change it up. Don't change it up.
Hey, KB, didn't nobody want no part of that, man.
Yeah,
And that damn sure wasn't snitching.
Yeah.
Hey, look, and,
At
and,
least they get choked out or get a body blow.
yo, they like no, keep choking people, man. No.
Hey, look, and I'm 4 years younger than them, so they can't tell it.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna tell it. They got beat up by little dudes. But yeah, that type of stuff, just not getting credit or acknowledged for what I would do. That thing, to this day, it bothers me. But on the positive side of it, it helped because when I started coaching and working with young people, I worked to make sure they didn't feel that way.
Gotcha.
So when you training some people or you coaching and you got some that's really not, they got effort, but they don't have the talent. So I'm that coach that'll go over and put them to the side while everybody else is doing it. And I'm giving them little things to do to help them build it up. And I'm just building their confidence. And then even if you have to cut them, you keep encouraging them. Look, man, it's not that you're bad. These guys, we want to win. They're a little better than you. You keep working on it, this, that, and the other, and kind of keep in contact with them, keep them motivated, opposed to tearing them down, tearing the character down. Because when you at that age, you can really screw up a young person.
Oh yeah. All right, well now let me interrupt you right here because now what I want to do is bring us into this. We heard what you were saying, and I'll start with myself. We've known each other for a very long time, and we had so many conversations.
Absolutely.
And what was my point of view when you and I talked about these things? Can you remember what it was?
I remember several things you said that stood out.
If you want to share them, bro.
Okay, the main one, and it was hilarious. And I guess you said your dad had told you that what you eat don't make me shit. That's I love that one because it said so much.
It does.
It was a few words, but it summed it up. And it was like, yeah, it matters, but it has nothing to do with me. That's that's your stuff.
Yeah.
So
Hey, Fluke, I can't see you from my porch, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't
was
see you
that
from
one
my
too?
porch.
If it ain't happening in front of my house,
Hey,
it ain't happening.
Hey, look, I'm gonna let my brothers respond, and I just want to say this one thing, because a lot of times, and really, I'm older than Keith, so I looked at it as an older friend, older brother. This is how I looked at him. So when I didn't agree with him, it had a lot to do with him minimizing the person that he is. Because you guys always know that I'm always into self-care. We make ourselves happy. Yeah, your woman can enhance your happiness, but you got to start off happy for her to enhance anything.
Right.
You know, so when I talk to Keith many times, because we were partners for 3 years, but we've been friends for a long time. But I saw him every day, and his ups and downs. And look, just like anybody else, I'm gonna give you your flowers, and we ain't gonna talk about this man's flowers because this man is a bad man. But I'm gonna leave that alone right now. But but the thing about it is, I always emphasize, because that was my journey. What they eat don't make you shit.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who don't understand that is, understand your life. This is you. This is what your process. You process it, then you make your own judgment, and then you go from there.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Huge.
You know, and it's sort of like saying, I don't give a fuck about what you're talking about, but you're not doing it in a belligerent way. You're just worrying about you. Ja'Cory, Damon, you know, any of you guys want to elaborate or talk and say something about it?
Yeah. Considering the question, man, you know, I could think of 2 instances, man, you know, from my childhood that, you know, they scarred and built me up at the same time, man. The first one was when I got held back in the 2nd grade. You know what I mean? That for a long time, man, that was devastating to me, man. You know, because I didn't have foresight at that time. You know, but that it marked me. You know what I mean? But in the meantime, I was satisfied. You know, I got to get out of like every Wednesday. I got to get out of freaking whatever the subject was, you know, going on in class at the time, man. And shit, at the end of the year, they took us to the zoo. And they always had candy and shit. You know, so it was a win-win situation for me. I was a little fat kid. You know what I mean? And the second time, man, the second biggest thing that impacted me, man, was the fact that, you know, when I went out for Pop Warner or whatever, the Huron Braves, and they told me I couldn't play because I was too heavy.
Yep.
But at that point, I was told that when I got on the field, and I was a little old boy, little bitty boy at that time, but I was still told that when I got on the field, I could do anything I wanted to. And that was a place that I had to shine. You know, with all my little buddies or whatever. Oh man, Ja'Cory, you fat. Oh, you fat. All that. But when I got on the field, you know, and I started using that fat in the right way, I was put off the team. You know, and I remember the day. It happened, man. It was, I was a little white kid, and we grew up and played later in high school or whatever. And you know, it seemed like nothing had changed, even though I was excelling. But in the meantime, when we was playing for the Huron Braves, you know, it was like the second, third day of practice, you know, after we got the pads or whatever, because, you know, we was out there having to run and everything. And that was the worst experience I've ever had in my life, man. You know, the first at athletics or whatever, I didn't know, man, you had to run to get in shape. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You know? and they look, you talk about what, 9-10-year-old boy outside running, and it was 80 degrees. That shit was like slave time to me, man. I was throwing up and shit. And when they finally gave us the pads, I said, yeah, it's my time to shine now, right? So the third day we got the pads, you know, like I said, I ain't gonna say his name, but they put me up against this white dude who's supposed to be the Huron Braves star, right? And they blew the whistle, and I put the wood to that son of a bitch. I put the wood to that motherfucker. I mean, ran through it. Because I mean, I was a fat kid, but you look, I wanted to be the running back or the quarterback.
There you go.
You know, all the pretty positions and shit, right? So yeah, I said, this is where I earned my shot, right? Right. So I ran over him like a goddamn stunt man for the Coyote. That's some bitch. That's some bitch to see birds and stars and shit. And at the end of practice, At the end of motherfucking
Oh,
practice,
shit.
they pulled me to the side and was like, "Yeah, you know, you too big and everything." And you know, they tried to spin it, man. And
Yeah.
they told me as a child that they was worried about my health because I was too heavy to be playing football. And I was a little bitty boy, I told you. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking in my mind, okay, well, I'm out here exercising.
Right.
I'm fat, but I'm exercising and I'm fast, and I'm the best
Right.
out here. So I can't play
Proven.
because, you know, I couldn't figure it out, right? So I went
Uh-huh.
home with my tail between my legs, and I was crying and shit, and I was depressed. But years later, man, I realized that it wasn't because they was worried about my health. The dude I put the wood to, his daddy was one of the coaches,
There it is.
I remember that.
There it
and they
is.
got me to fuck, and they got me the fuck out.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
hey,
Hey,
before
Spo, hey,
you,
hold on, man. Hold on, hey, Spo, yo, so when you put the wood to it, man, when you look back, did he have them stars and them little birds floating over his head and shit?
Hey man,
hey, no.
look, when I dropped that
That's
shoulder,
the only thing I can think about when you said that shit.
yeah, when I dropped that shoulder and put it on him, I heard that song bitch say, "Ah!" and I kept on going, and I kept on going. And you know what? You know what? I told you we played through high school and everything.
Oh,
that
shit,
motherfucker he would not say a word to me. That motherfucker hated my goddamn guts.
Damn right.
Hated my guts.
Damn right.
Hated.
All right, hey, Damon, before we get to you, let me just say this. I just wanted what Jaquari just said. The time in second grade, right?
Mhm.
And the time that he came from your Huron Brave, that time me and Damon was there when he came back, because he would come to us like, yo, man, what the hell is going on? Explain this to me. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? But when he was in second grade, he came in, and it hurt me more than I ever could imagine.
Mhm.
Because my little brother came into the house and said, in shock, like, hey man, I need you to look at this report card.
Right.
He said, Keith, it says this.
Right.
Yo, tell me this ain't true. You know
Right.
what I mean? Because our mom had talked to us and
Mhm.
told us about it. Why it threw me off, because I thought she had already said that to him. You understand
Oh,
what I'm
okay.
saying to you? And
Okay.
I begged her not to do it. And you want to know why? And I just wanted to say this shit. You want to know why they even thought about doing that with him? Because he was in the house with grown people, and he can have a grown conversation. That was the excuse they gave my mother.
They thought I was Rain Man.
He said, that teacher said, he can do the work. That's not a problem. But
Right.
he's having conversation as an adult. When my mother said that to me, I said, and?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What is that? I said,
Right.
Mom,
Yeah.
please don't believe this.
That
You know what
teacher
I'm
was
saying?
mad. That teacher was mad because he said a word to her and she had to go look it up in the dictionary, man. That's all.
All
No
right, hey,
problem at
Damon,
all.
go ahead, brothers. Sorry to cut you off, but go ahead.
Man, I can only think of two, man. You know, and they real quick and simple. One, when I was I think I was in the 5th grade or whatever, and my best friend slammed that goddamn wooden door on my finger, man. And I'm sitting up there looking at my finger, caught in the door jam, and I'm looking at him, and he laughing and pushing on the door. And I was like, okay, I'm finna
man.
kill him.
Yeah.
I'm finna kill him until
Yeah.
the secretary said, man, let me call your mom, and so she can take you to go get your finger sewed back on. And that was the beginning of my journey of being a regular at the ER at the University of Michigan Hospital.
Oh gosh.
Yo, you got U of M, I got Byers, motherfucker.
Hey, my file that thick. I was there every day. And so the lesson there was, hey man, don't play around with heavy wooden doors with idiots, man. The second one was I'm sitting up there. I had a summer job you know, when I was in college, I had a summer job and I was working in this factory using this this machine press, was pressing holes in this metal sheet. And before I went to work, my brother Keith called me. Hey man, come here. Hey man, when you get off work, man, you get on that bus, man, you get to Pittsburgh, we're gonna have us a good time. I said, hell yeah. I got everything set up and ready, bro. I'm ready to come. I'm standing up at my job, because I worked in the mornings. I'm standing up at my job thinking about that shit he said and didn't pull my hand back fast enough. And the machine came down and smashed my hand, and that was a wrap.
Wow.
Didn't get to go to Pittsburgh and was high on them damn pain meds all summer long.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, you know, just have that awareness, man. You know, those are two hard lessons that I learned, man. You know, because I wasn't aware.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you know, other than the pain and suffering, just, you know, just having awareness of your safety, your surroundings, and all that stuff, man. You know, it was a hard lesson. Is my point.
Hey, KB. Hey man, our dad.
Okay.
Whenever you know something like that happened to you, you know you fuck yourself up bad, and you sit there sniffling and crying and fucking aching and bleeding and shit. He'll look at you and he'll say, "Damn, son, what you learn?" That's the kind of man who raised us. What you learn?
Yeah.
And at the time, you know, I would be thinking to myself, "Hey, man, you know, you my daddy, motherfucker. You supposed to be like, you know what I mean?" But the things that happened to me that was bad, and he asked me that question, never fucking happened to me again.
Yeah,
Ever, man. I never even came close to having those situations again, man.
Hey, Jaquan, this was the killer. Hey, Pop, man, it hurt when I do like this here. He say, "Well, son, don't do like this here, man."
Don't do that, son.
Don't do that.
We talking about cowboy logic. Cowboy logic. That's what the fucking. That's what it is.
My youngest brother would he'd climb up on the. No, we were sitting there watching television. We were watching the game, football game. He climbed up. He liked the wrestling, so he climbed up on the back of the chair and kept putting his hands up like Jimmy Snooker and then jump off on the floor. My dad told him to stop, like twice. So he stopped, he chilled out, but then I looked, or we looked, me and my other brother looked. He's up on the back of the chair. High as he can go. Got his hands up, and we thinking, okay, he crazy. This dude done told him twice. So as he's jumping, my dad didn't say a word. He watched TV. This dude went to jump, and I guess midway he changed his mind, but was too late. So he goes out, lands on the floor, the hardwood floor. So it's like boom, and it knocks the wind out of him. And he rolled over. He got ready to cry. He went, and my dad said, "If you cry, I'll beat the black out, baby."
Hey man,
he choked it up. I don't know how he did it.
Yeah. Hey, look, experience is good teacher.
Exactly. Take someone like me to know.
God damn it. Hey man, look.
Oh, shit.
Throughout the history of our community, man, we have always learned from each other's hard lessons, man. If some of the shit that happened to us when we was kids didn't happen, then you know the ones who was coming behind us wouldn't have goddamn survived.
Oh yeah,
that's what it is.
You know, I think this just to quickly answer the question, and it's more of a philosophical thing. Is I was always a optimistic child, right? And I had no reason not to be that way when it came to our community. You know, just the education that our parents gave us and just the way I seen it. The hardest lesson for me to learn is personality gets in the way of people doing the right thing towards you. In other words, if you an asshole, no matter how much you think it, how much you know the right thing to do, that asshole gets in the way of it.
Write that word down. Yeah.
You
You
said
know what I'm saying?
asshole him.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
Use that
Google
one.
that
and
shit.
the other thing that gets in the way, and y'all let me know if you agree with it or not, your ego gets in the way.
Absolutely.
Your ego. Because your ego stops you from accepting help. Your ego stops you from helping. Your ego stops you from caring,
Absolutely.
even when you want to.
This is my next point.
You know what I'm saying? Even if you want to. So
Yep.
what I had to do, I had to train myself to be like my parents. I trained this person you see here today. I had to learn to be this person. I wasn't born this way. That's it. That's all, really, that's all. I wasn't born this way. It was work. That's why when I talk to people, they always like, Keith, you so matter of fact and you this. No, I've been where you are. I've had choices like you have, and I've made the right choice enough time to know that you could have made the right choice right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It ain't no judgment. I'm not pointing fingers at you and judging you. No, no, far from it. But I'm saying, don't tell me I had no choice, Keith.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
did. You
had a
did.
choice.
You just didn't want to do it.
Hey,
Mhm.
And that's cool.
So-
That's cool with me. Just don't pretend that you don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Hey, look. Hey,
So-
hey, Mitch.
sometimes,
Robert
man.
Mitchell, what's up, baby boy?
Oh,
ahead,
Mitch.
bro.
What's up, Mitch?
Go ahead and finish, dog.
Sometimes, man, you know, and it all depends on how evolved the person you are, how centered you are, man. Sometimes you realize that you got to take the loss. You know what I mean? Because if I do everything within my power to win this situation, man, I'm gonna fucking lose ultimately. You know,
Yep.
if I'm dealing with somebody who, you know, if I'm dealing with a dickhead who cut me in, you know, in the line at the fucking 7-Eleven, I can show him that, hey man, I can physically reprimand you right now. I can beat the shit out of you. You know, I can do that. And I can win this fight. I know I can win this fight because I'm looking at you from head to toe and you ain't got it, bro.
Right.
You ain't got it. So I'll beat the shit out of you now, but I'm gonna go to fucking jail and possibly risk every fucking thing that I have.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta take the loss, man.
Sometimes.
You know,
Y'all just
sometimes you
hit
gotta take the loss, man. You know, and lick your wounds and figure out how to avoid that situation the next time.
that is so hard to do. Man, it's hard.
Yeah.
Now-
But ego
now-
and pride, just like my brother just mentioned, man. You know,
It
once
is.
you conquer those two things, you're gonna be doing well.
All right, now
I believe
look.
that.
After what you just said, you and Keith just said, Jaquari, we try to get at least 2 of these questions in. And the next question is, did the perception of your personality get in the way of what you wanted in life? In other words, just to follow up with that, people thinking that you softer than you are because of your calm demeanor.
Yeah.
Did it get in the way of a career move, love life, or you smacking the shit out of somebody?
Yes. All of the above.
Elaborate. Elaborate.
Yes. All of the above. My appearance. There was this one thing that stands out. There was a teacher that I worked with. She saw me every day. She'd hug me every day. She'd see me. We speak. She'd hug me every day. And I saw her out in Walmart and spoke to her. And she turned around and was startled. I mean, I didn't walk up and surprise her. I walked up, approached her, and spoke to her. And she looked startled. Yeah, like, who is this big black dude What's going on? And then she looked. She said, "Oh, okay. How you doing? How you doing?" And she said, "I didn't even recognize you. You know, out of your uniform." And we went on and spoke fine, but it dawned on me
Subscribe.
how many other times that had happened. So even like in a work environment, or if I'm just mingling among people, if I had a facial expression kind of like I am now, and I'm walking and I'm just like, "Hey, how you doing? How are you all?" and just keep going, they take it as me being aggressive or something is wrong, and they keep asking me all the time, "You all right, man? Everything good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what's going on?" But if I go in and I'm like, "Hey, how y'all doing? So and so and so," now I'm a punk. Now I'm soft. You can say crazy stuff to me.
Yeah,
You can approach me in any kind of way, and I can't find the balance.
I got you.
I can't find the balance.
There is no balance, man. It's not fair, bro.
Yeah,
It's not fair to it's not fair that our peers and everybody around us get to be human in themselves.
Yeah,
But as a person of stature, there's a certain blueprint you got to adhere to
yeah.
for everybody else's peace of mind and safety. Well,
I
look,
don't.
Frankenstein, look, and I say Frankenstein, and I'm just talking about his size. I'm
Right.
not talking about his face. I'm a big old pretty motherfucker. So
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
I mean, yeah,
With
yeah.
your pretty ass. Go ahead and
I
finish.
I ain't laughing. Fuck that.
Hey,
But
this is
I
true.
see. Look, yes, sir. When I was a kid, man, I was a little bitty boy, and I seen Frankenstein, Frankenstein's monster and shit, and I seen the way the village people attacked him, and the way they perceived him to be a fucking monster, but he wasn't. He was just chilling. He hadn't committed any acts of violence, up to that point when the fucking townspeople came with the fires and goddamn pitchforks and shit. He was minding his own goddamn business.
Yeah.
So that helped me to see that Frankenstein was a goddamn victim. He was a victim of society's preconceived fucked up notions of anything that's outside the norm.
Yes,
Gotcha.
their perception of the norm.
Damon,
Yeah.
Damon, you got anything?
See, I was always that. Y'all both know I was always a loner, man. So people always thought something was wrong with me anyway. I mean, white, black, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But see, what they don't understand is that I was finding my way. In terms of where I fit in the world. And in the beginning, it took moving from Detroit to Ypsi. In the beginning, it took me being by myself. You know what I'm saying? To really grab some idea of what it is that pretty much made me happy and comfortable in myself. It didn't involve anybody, so I didn't have anything pulling back and forth. I mean, everybody thought I was this cat who was like, man, that's a strange dude, always by himself. But that was just a part of me focusing and getting an understanding of being comfortable in my skin. As far as when you get to the point where you're grounded and you're comfortable within yourself, any person that comes to talk to you, you already know where the snake coming from. You know what I'm saying? You already know. I was betrayed one time. And I'm not gonna say who his name is, but I was betrayed one time by my so-called best friend. Come to find out, when he was laughing at me with them, he was laughing at himself. You know what I'm saying? And in that situation, I recognized, and I was like, well, at least I ain't clowning no buffoon like this motherfucker, man. You know what I'm saying? So I went on about my business. So I've never really paid attention, man, to people's perception of me. Because when you are able to recognize, you know what I'm saying? All four of us, we all know, man, when somebody's scared of your ass, man, or intimidated by you. At an early age, you know it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you are able to recognize that from the jump start, it's like, you know what I'm saying? As long as you don't put your hands on me, everything cool, man. So you keep on laughing and all that. But what the hell could they say about me, man, other than the fact that I ain't had no damn clothes? You know what I'm saying? Didn't have no clothes. So that's the first thing that they attacked. But they wasn't fucking smarter than me. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't as athletic as I was. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't use them hands like I could. You know what I'm saying? So take your punk ass over there with your new clothes. I wish I had a pair of them pants, but take your ass over there with them new clothes and shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? My point is, I always knew that.
Just a tad bit bitter. I get it, dog. I understand.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say, you know what I'm saying, that they didn't bother me to a certain extent, but I didn't get hung up on it, man.
Fucking right. Fucking
I didn't
right.
get hung up on it.
You know, because, you know, the three of us always had each other first and foremost. You know what I mean? See, I want the audience to understand that the three of us always talked it out. We always got caught up the way that we were supposed to, because as a big brother, when I got it first, I went to my brothers like, yo, this is what's going on. Because this is what I was taught to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, lead by example. And see, here's the thing, and I'm gonna say it quickly. To answer that question, people want to put a label on us because they fear us.
Mm-hmm.
They fear the worst person we can be. I'm 6'9". You know what I mean? 300 plus pounds. You know what I'm saying? The worst person I could be is somebody kicking in your damn door. But what they say to me is, you're so quiet and soft-spoken. You're like a teddy bear. That said, and you know, people always look at it as some kind of compliment. But what it's done is to minimize their fear in me.
Exactly.
Pay attention to that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I've understood in my whole life is I have always been a highly intelligent human being. And I understood and was proud of my blackness, my dark hue. I love it. Always have. Because I got the proper education to understand what it means. But see, I never belittled anybody. I never belittled anybody to say, well, oh, you know, you don't know where you come from. No, I'm gonna explain it to you, then you can have it. You dig?
Hey man, our background growing up, man, by our parents, it was kind of like a military background, but we discussed and analyzed everything, man, ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Ad nauseum. So that's why I could say that outside factors didn't really bother me. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that mattered to me is that, you know, I understood where I needed to go to get peace of mind.
Right.
You know, and moving from Detroit, man, that freedom, that was the biggest adjustment for me. It wasn't moving from different grade schools and stuff. It was being able to walk from my neighborhood through downtown. Whereas growing up in Detroit, man, we had to stay on one fucking street, other than going to school.
Mm-hmm.
So that and the culture shock, man, it was like. But I had my Uncle Kenny there. We would stop at different shops downtown, people that we knew, and we sit up there and we have conversation. So if Mr. Johnson owned a shoe store, when I walked through there, I would stop and kick it with him. You know what I'm saying? The woman at the library, you know what I'm saying? And it was all diverse.
Yeah.
It was all diverse. So, you know.
Now I wish I had that, because I had got kind of tying it in with what we were talking about earlier. I had gotten to a point to where I was afraid to ask a question, because the first response was, "You ain't know that? Man, you should have known that." I mean, and it has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
So I got to the point to where I wouldn't ask questions. I became a very good listener. So
Yeah.
you talk to me, I'll listen to it and try to put it together through the conversation.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but like you said, you would take it and what you get, you pass on to your brothers. That's heavy. That's huge.
I mean, it's all the time. Look,
Yeah.
and and some things they would eat up, and some things they would hate my guts for. I didn't care because it was about us. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
hey, KB, he was to the point where he would make up shit, man. I used to be afraid of the monster under the bed. And I couldn't, and me and him was sleeping in the same bed, and I wouldn't let his ass sleep. Talking about the monster in the bed, he came up with a goddamn story, man, that made me feel safe. I knew it was lying, but he took the effort.
Yeah.
He made the effort to tell me something so I could sleep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
All right.
that's huge.
All right, now we're to the point where what I want to do, but I see something in the comments that our cousin Malika made, and what I want to do is get Jaquar's response to it, and then we're coming to the fumes of our episode. So, Jaquar, Malika said, she asked, did you remember the officer who tried to humiliate you during the assembly by squeezing your hand in those handcuffs because you were a big guy? She said that pissed her off and stuck with her. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I remember absolutely. We was at an assembly at Ypsi High School, and they had come to me that morning. The assembly that was like at freaking, I don't know, like after lunch sometime, 12:30, 1 o'clock, something like that. Maybe I'm probably wrong, but the memory is vague, but it did stick with me. They had come to me that morning, and they asked me if I wanted to volunteer to help out in the assembly, and I'm like, at that point in time, man, I was all about the team. I was all about the image and putting forth a good face, for the sake of the greater good. So yeah, I jumped at the chance. I did that shit on purpose. The scenario was it was a state trooper from Mississippi, and he came to speak for some occasion, to our high school. And like I said, that morning, they came and pulled me out of class. It was like, look, we got this guest speaker in, and it'd really be a good thing, if you helped us out. And I said, okay, all right, I'm all about it. So I talked to him, and he told me, what he was going to do. And I said, all right, that's cool. I was leery about it because I was militant. Mm-hmm. Always militant. But like I said, I had a team player mentality. So when the assembly came, and he wanted to demonstrate how a person would be handcuffed in order to sit and put the message out there, for us to stay straight, not do crime and stay out of trouble and everything, right? So that was a catalyst for me right there. Mm-hmm. So he calls me out of the crowd. I walk up to him. And he only put a handcuff on my right wrist. Mm-hmm. And he told me before, because we had planned it out, he said, I'm gonna act like I'm squeezing the handcuffs or whatever, just act like you're in pain. So, when he started, he applied a little pressure, I went down like, oh my God, I'm dying. And, the reaction from, the assembly, the people in the assembly, it was something that gave me a feeling that kind of put me in a headspace and said, man, you're supposed to be here. You're supposed to be here out in front of everybody. You know what I mean? This is not the ideal situation, but as long as you have these people's attention, you can do something with this. Yeah. So it was a double-edged sword, man. And as a matter of fact, I believe it to be probably one of the first double-edged sword situations that I could recall, mm-hmm. Because I was embarrassed, and my friend group, shit, they didn't let me hear the end of it, but the feeling that it gave me to have that kind of control over an audience, which is something that I craved or whatever. I said, yeah, if I had something to say that made some sense, I could have these people listen to me.
Gotcha.
And from that, from basically that point on, Well, actually, it was a little earlier because I don't share it much, but you know, when I was in high school, I wanted to I wanted to start acting. I wanted to be in the theater or whatever.
Mhm.
But the theater teacher told me that it wasn't a place for me.
Of course, they always do.
Man,
They
He
always
told
do.
me this is not the place for you. And he said, anyway, ain't it football season?
Of course.
And I was like, and I accepted that. And then when I was a senior, that situation happened, and it reinforced, the feeling in me that
That's
told,
what you wanted to
that I
do.
had, that I
Yeah.
want to do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I moved to North Carolina, the place I said that I blossomed in, and I started, performing on the stage or whatever, you know, I was in a constant headspace of this is my shit.
Mhm.
This is my shit.
Yeah.
This is where I belong. And I like to think that I was good at it and I excelled. You know,
You did.
and
You did.
I appreciate it. But it's I understand the sentiment because I really do. But it was one of those situations, from my youth that I had to come to terms with. Like I said, when I say it wasn't the ideal situation for me, I was like, damn, when it was happening, I was like, "Suppose you look like a sucker, bro. You're like a sucker, man." But I had to find the good in it.
All right. Hey, listen.
Mhm.
This is a point where I address everybody in the comments. Keith, do you got a dome light in your truck, bro? Because they say in the last couple minutes, all they can see is your smile.
Richard Pryor say, "You see the smile on that motherfucker?"
I thought it was
Hey,
think
Keith.
about David Chappelle and Rick James.
Yeah.
Hey, do like Red Fox on Harlem Mike. Fuck you, motherfucker.
Hey, Aunt Liz. Hey, Jaquari and Fluke. Aunt Liz Clark is on,
Hey.
man. What's going
Oh,
on,
man.
Aunt Liz?
Hey, Auntie, how you doing?
How you doing? Love you.
It's good to see from
wow.
you. Good to
Hey,
see
Big
from you.
Bill.
Good to see from you.
Big Bill.
I
He's
see
in
it.
Scarborough. Yeah.
Hey, Scarborough know I'm still 2-0, right? He's still.
All right. All right. Well, this is what we're going to do because we're about at that point. Damon is going to give us the speaking strong perspective. But Keith, what we're going to do is we're going to let you have the last word of this podcast. Just give us the overall what you feel, how you feel, when you feel, whatever you want to talk about, bro.
Oh, okay. Cool. Let's do it.
Okay.
Proceed, brother.
How about now?
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's only, it's only two keys. It's only two keys on there. It's two of us, and I'm saying Keith. So I'm talking to you, bro.
Eyes smart, eyes kind, eyes important. No, man.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna say, life, man. Life, life overall is beautiful. One of the best blessings that happened to me has been turning 50. I'm in my I'm crossing the mid-December. I'm 56, so I'm crossing mid-50s. I'm in mid-50s, going on to the other side now. But in the 50s, everything started making sense, clearly making sense, and making sense to the point to either I'm going to deal with it or I'm not. It matters or it doesn't. Anything, if I give it an emotional feeling about something, I'll put it up, I look at it, am I going to deal with it? Doesn't matter. It's a checklist. And if it don't hit a certain score, I just let it go. So that helps keep a peace of mind I retired from law enforcement, and I did it all. I did all I needed to do. I had enough. There's nothing else. I said, do you miss it? I miss people. I miss interactions. Honestly, that's what I got in it for anyway. I went out there trying to yippee-ki-yay and all that stuff, even though I had to do it. Whenever I did it, was because it was necessary to do at that moment. My thing was focusing in on young people and helping people. And I helped way more people than I arrested.
Amen.
I can't think of one person I arrested and enjoyed it, especially if they look like me. In school, on the story that Corey was talking about, what you've experienced is strong. We've been out there and they'd be like, maybe I want to see what the handcuffs feels like. And I turn them around and I said, look, read our history. I'm not putting you in a handcuff. I don't want you to know what a handcuff feels like.
You don't want to know.
I don't want you to know at all. Trust me, I've done it. You don't want to do that. This career here that I'm doing now, the driving, I like it. I'm trying to take it to another level. I didn't even say this, I've started my own business. I have a corporation now. It's name of it is Keith the Bees Transportation, LLC. And Keith the Bee came from, because that's what my grandmother and my aunt would call me. Actually, they called me Keithy Laditi.
You didn't want to use that's too personal. I got you, dog.
Yeah, but she said Keithy Laditi, and that's my French name. But but yeah, so I said Keith the Bee. So I have a business now. All I'm doing now, I'm trying to find me a truck to buy, and I have a company to lease on to, so I'll have my own. I have my own business.
Yeah.
I just need a truck now. I'm looking for a truck. I have the money to get the truck. Everything. So everything is looking great, and I look forward to supervising myself, making my own decisions and stuff, and not, because it's been decades of following incompetent people, doing dumb stuff because somebody dumb, you got to follow protocol.
Yeah.
And so everything is just seems like it's a blessing, man. It's been coming together. And y'all don't know, just being on this podcast right here, this is therapeutic for me. Like I said, I watch you all, and if I don't see it live like this, you better believe I rewind, I go back and look at it. Because the stories you all tell, you share, I can relate to it. And like when we would be in the office, we'd be having a conversation, and when you were telling me about life experiences and different things, I'm sure you noticed that I'm sitting in that chair a lot of times looking at you like I'm a damn kid, because I'm taking it in. I mean, stuff I hadn't heard. I just hadn't heard it from that perspective. And in my mind, I'm thinking, man, if I would have heard that 30 years ago, wow, that would have made a difference.
No doubt.
I don't know if you noticed it, but I knew you way before you knew me. And my dad knew you when you were at Pitt, because we saw you play. Yeah. And I had used that actually in when I was coaching, and I told them about the way you entered the game. First time I saw you, they were playing. I can't remember who you were playing, but when the coach just did this, he didn't really turn his head. He just did this, and you just appeared. You ran to the damn coach, stood there. He said something to you, and you ran on the court. That was impressive. You don't see that now. Now they getting up, they put disrobing, like wrestlers and shit. They, you know, but it didn't have no eager. They weren't eager to enthusiasm about. And I know I'm all over the place, but my whole thing was just this whole thing, your podcast, all of this is beautiful, man. Y'all really don't doubt it. You giving out some great, real information. Because you're talking about some things that people are feeling and going through or have dealt with that that's real stuff. It's not stuff necessarily just in the media that they saying is real stuff. This is real thing that everyday people, especially our people, are dealing with. So my life and everything leading up to this point, this has been beautiful since retirement.
Oh yeah.
Other than dealing with family members passing away, grandmother passed away, my dad passed away. My brother, uncle passed away, and actually his funeral, the day I was retiring, they were having his funeral.
Wow.
So like when I came out from retirement, put my stuff up, came out from retirement, I'm watching his funeral on Zoom.
Wow.
So this kind of stuff, and those are like the negative points of it since retirement. But stuff like this, man, this is beautiful. And then you give me an opportunity to participate. Let me say thank you. I appreciate it. I really do.
You're more than welcome, man. Shit. Like I said, you was on top of the list of people coming on in the first place. My brothers will tell you that. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Man,
Yeah.
KJ reached out to you too, man.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you that information.
Okay,
I'm gonna
yeah.
give you that information. If you see the comments, right? But I'm gonna give you this information. I'm gonna give you
Okay,
this.
yes.
Yeah, and then also, you see what TWS said. Did you see her in the comments?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. that's my buddy there.
Yeah.
Hey, the funny story about her, the first time I met her, she was at East Wake, and her and Keith was standing in the hallway, kids walking past. She was wearing some heels that day. And when she walked up and stood in front of her, I looked at her and I was like, who in the hell is that? And I said, well, why is she standing on the table in the middle of the damn hallway? And then everybody moved, and I said, well, damn. I had no clue she was that tall.
Yeah. All right, look, thank you for coming on, brother. We're at the point.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we at the point where Damon gives us the Armstrong, speak on the strong moment. Take it away, bro.
Well, earlier this week, man, I was doing my usual thing, trying to think about what it is that I wanted to talk about, discuss. I write down 100 different things, 100 different topics. But normally, I usually just go by feeling or whatever. And this particular day, when I was thinking about it, you know, I was looking at different things that was happening on TV, current events and all that stuff, and I got totally depressed. And I was like, wow. I'm saying, you know, things that are out of our control have so much weight on our emotions and how we feel, you know. So I was talking to my wife, and I asked her a question. Simple question. I said, "Wife, Nita, do you know how to be happy? Do you think I know how to be happy?" You know, and it's such a it's not a weird question to ask yourself, but you would think most people know how to be happy, or what it takes to make them that. You know, so I struggled with it for a while, and I'm like, wow. What makes me happy? Is it money? Is it possessions? What is it? You know? And then a couple of days later, I heard my wife and my grandbaby in there laughing and talking, you know, playing. And the way they were laughing and the the uh, uh, the realness of the laughter and the richness of it, man, almost brought me to tears. You know, and I was like, wow, you know, I went in the room and I was doing everything I can to get them both to laugh. I'm making myself look like a damn fool. You know what I'm saying? Tap dance, whatever it took. And then it dawned on me. I said, damn, that's what real happiness is. You know what I'm saying? That thing, that situation or that element in your life, man, that brings you joy without trying to bring you joy. It's just what happens to you. You know? And since then, I've been trying to think. I was like, man, okay, let me start paying attention to what really, truly brings me joy. And, man, I came up with 1,000 different things, man. 1,000 different things. And what's sad about that is the fact that, man, like Pops say, man, blessings and stuff like that come to you every day. You just have to recognize it. You just have to recognize it. So I went from being depressed, watching something that's out of my damn control, to being able to focus and recognize things that happen to me every day that made me truly happy. You know what I'm saying? Am I making sense to y'all, man?
You making sense, brother.
You understand what I'm saying? And it's like, damn, it blew my mind. You know, so I'm wondering, do anybody else have that experience?
Yeah.
Things that we self-conscious that we ignore, that really give us that joy in our heart, because we're worrying about what could happen or what's happening in the world that we have no control over. That is crazy. It blew my mind. So I'm basking in the shit, man, every day. So when my grandbaby walked through that door, hey, how you doing, grandbaby? What's happening? You know what I'm saying? I'm buck dancing. You know what I'm saying? I'm going through the whole gamut, man. The whole gamut. And I'm finding peace in that shit, man.
No doubt.
I'm finding peace in it. It's just about recognizing it, man.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Great, man. Great as usual, bro. So any last word from the three brothers? Keith, we'll start with you. Any last words?
Oh no. Just I was listening to that. What Damon was saying. That was, man. That about wraps it up there. I mean,
No. You're trying to clear your throat. You
Yeah,
didn't want that crumble to come out.
Man.
I can relate to that. And because that laughter, you know, people. How can I say it quickly? People plan vacations, they plan things to do, looking for something that they think is fun for them, and they totally overlook is right there with them a lot of times. Because you can remember, Keith, you remember the time me and you sat in that office and people could hear us laughing in the hallway. We in there laughing. And you can tell them if you want to. You remember we sitting there and said, Casey. I'll let you share that one. But little stuff like that.
But real quick, right? The funny thing was, Casey King, good friend of ours, right? She said she was walking the hallway and we had, no, I was just screaming it, right? I wasn't talking through
Yeah.
I was just screaming. She was walking past, right? She stopped in her tracks. And I called her again. I said, Casey, thinking she knows it's coming from our office, because our office is right by the door. She did this. She was looking around.
Man, y'all gotta understand, Casey was it was a little girl in there that got beat up. This chick had beat her down, and she had knots on her head. She had lumps on her head. And she got frustrated because everybody kept coming in and asking her what happened. And she was screaming. She was saying, I just got my fucking ass kicked. And when Casey came in, she said, "Don't talk like that. Stop talking like that. Hush, hush." She said, "No, what's wrong with you?" She said, "Look at my face." And Casey said, "Ooh." She wasn't explaining them knots.
Oh my God.
You are fucked up, huh?
Yeah, she had knots all over her head, man.
Yeah.
Hey, they really relating to your ass.
Yeah. Jaquar, you got anything, brother?
Just final thought, KB, man. Hey, man, it's a great show, brother. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you taking your time out to come and fellowship with us, man. I appreciate it. And I said it once, I say it again, man. I knew yesterday, when we did the preliminaries or whatever, man. I knew it was gonna be a good show, a good fit. I hope you felt comfortable enough to express yourself, man, because you made me feel comfortable enough to express myself, brother. And like I said, I appreciate your time.
That's real. That's real.
Thank
Damon?
you. Thanks for having me.
I've spoken enough, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting up here rubbing this oil in these old quick ass knees, man.
All right, well,
I'm letting it sink down to the joints, folks.
Hey, you don't even rub it in. Hey, you put it on and don't even rub it in. You just let that shit soak.
No. What you do is, this is how you do it. You rub it in there, right? You put it on, then you blow on it and shit. That
You can't, look. You can't laugh that good unless you know what the hell he's talking about, man.
Goddamn right.
Hey, man, look, my gout, my two big toes and shit. When the gout set in, I be praying to myself like, Lord, just take these motherfuckers away. I don't even need them.
See,
I don't even need them.
I didn't understand it because Keith showed up and he was saying mine is better. He showed me his hand and like he had a little glove on. He had his hand out, and I was like, what? I was thinking to myself, that's better? I was like,
Man, look, I see my brother's hands and I got misty like a motherfucker, man. I almost cried.
all right, well, listen.
The things that you go through.
Keith, stay on, man. When we end this live, we're going to do the last thing. But, hey, thank everybody for tuning in. Thanks for the comments. We love y'all. Hey, this is house cleaning. Go to our channel, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Do us a favor and subscribe for us. You know what I mean? Let your people know. Look, our next step is 1,000. And then once we reach 1,000, we're going to have more people that'll have access for us. So come on, do what you have to do. And, we're going to be here next Friday. This is a Strong Podcast. And thank you for listening.